little Hendrix-like, you know? Yeah, little Hendrix, you know? Kind of. If he were a session musician. Oh, you know when you fall back asleep? Is there anything better than falling back asleep? No, there's not. There's nothing better. I took that middle-aged man leak at 4:45. No, 4:30. And I'm like, I could get up now and start working because I don't want to tell Steve, but I'm a little behind for the 10 a.m. taping of Hot Mics today. I'm a little behind. I don't want to tell Steve. So if I got up at 4:30, that would do the trick. Fell back asleep, woke up at 5:44. An extra 115 on an empty bladder. I mean, touchdown. Because I was in bed at 9:45. So that's pretty good. Happy hump day to you. Happy hump day to you. Humpity hump, 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 hump. Happy hump day to you. And Sydney Sweeney, who is out with her new bra collection today. Wow. Oh, God. This girl is having more fun with her boobs right now. Oh, my God. She's having more fun with these tatas than anybody could probably have when you really look at it. She's just running around. And she's just can't stop thrusting them into the camera. And now she has a lingerie collection called Siren, S-Y-R-N. For a half an hour this morning, I was like, Siren, She's got a Siren. It's called Siren, her collection. I was like, oh, okay. No, it's that cool thing where you dump vowels. There she is. That's Siren. I got to say, the little booty shorts look comfortable. I'm going to say it, girls. Right? We should do a little collaboration with her where we give them away to our loyal, upside down pineapplers. Get a little set. See little Joy Schmeha running around in a little Siren, boy short panties running around the neighborhood. People going, oh my God, there goes Schmeha again. What are you doing? Go in. She's like, oh my God, I feel great. She's just running up and down the street like an animal. I don't know. That would not be a good idea when you really look at it. Anyway, to promote her new booty shorts and brasiers and thongs and all those fun things, she did a stunt a couple nights ago. She and her buddies went like super Mission Impossible. Doon, 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 doon. And they brought a whole bunch of bras. They brought the bras. The Hollywood style. Yeah, and bags. All the bras were tied together. And they threw them up on the Hollywood sign in Griffith Park. Look at this. Los Feliz area. Oh my God. We're totally going to put bras on the sign.
I'm going to get caught at this rate.
We're going to get caught. Mm.
Give her a bra. Give her
Wow.
a bra. Give her a bra.
She did it. Oh my God, quiet. You know what I love?
Just so that.
Good for Sydney. The girls will be at her knees in no time. If they're real, they'll be at the knees in no time. The question is, are they real? She took a lie detector test for Vanity Fair when she was promoting The Housemaid, and they hooked up lie detector tests. I love Vanity Fair. This is so smart. You got to always think of a way to like promote new ways of promoting things. Jimmy Fallon, hey, Fernando Mendoza, he broke records. Let's have him actually break records. And he threw the football at vinyl records. You got to find ways. And Vanity Fair was like, let's do a lie detector test where you guys like question each other. The whole basic concept for doing this was the booby question. It began at the sitting around a table. How do we find out if her boobs are real? We're interviewing the two of them. How do we do this in a creative way instead of just like, oh, let's see if they'll do a lie detector test against you with the fun, and then we'll slide it to Amanda Seyfried. She'll ask the question. And everybody's safe if Amanda Seyfried asks the question, and likely Amanda Seyfried wants to know too, right? So they pin it off on the lie detector test. They get some some old guy with a coffee stained shirt, who's worked for the FBI for years, and his mustache, and he connects the ladies up. And they asked the question, and she said they're real, basically, and she passed. But every doctor and every expert, and we know a few, they're all like, not a chance. Not a chance, but who cares, I guess. Do you think are women predisposed in the cattiest way to not like her because she throws them girls around? Right? Who cares? Boobs. You see? Men care. Karen. That's all they think about. So
I mean,
not me. I'm a much deeper fellow than that. You all know that.
We don't think about them at all, but
Steve maybe probably thinks about it.
Never think about them. But Billy, I thought I'd show you the unboxing, because she also sold this by unboxing the first one. Here we go. Take a look at this.
This is very exciting. I have the first ever iron box. Should we open it? This is tearing me apart. I think I have that one on. These are my favorites. And I saw Simba. Does it also have a little bow tie? Because we mean business. Then we have one of my favorite pieces. I love a good one piece etiquette. The front closure, triangle bralette.
It comes out in like 3 colors, and they're mostly like cotton. And just listen. No, please look at my eyes. I'm telling you something right now. Just telling you something, and I need you to focus because I'm talking about my new product, which comes out. And it's available right now. Nothing to see down here. Oh my God. What the hell is going on here? I, for one, have had enough. There he is. He's quiet. He knows that all the women around him are about to give him a bap, English dick. Quiet English dick. And English dick is like, they sort of look real to me, if anyone's asking. Well, that's right, English dick. Everybody's asking. He is the only other male here. He's the only other man here. Couple questions for the men here, which means me, Steve, and English dick. Does it matter? Is there extra credit in the real versus fake? I think absolutely you get extra credit for real, right? I mean, I know every surgeon in town. I could get a beautiful set myself, right? Like phenomenal. They make them like very soft and all that. So I don't know. But she says she passed the lie detector test. Everyone puts up the picture. Oh, 17 years old. Look at this. 17 years old. I think that she's still growing. She's 28 now. I don't know. Doesn't matter. She's getting credit for it. She owns the space. She's 28 years old. Someone asked me a little earlier, does that fit your daughter's parameters, right? Favorite. With dad, after the divorce, my daughters came to me and they said, Dad, do not run around with young. I have a daughter who's 27. Does Sydney Sweeney fit that? No, not a chance. No. That would be no one would speak to me, including, I wouldn't speak to myself. It's way too young for my purview. Not a chance. My daughter's correct. We do have an issue on the upper end of things. She's like, it has to be 15 years, Dad, older than your oldest child. So if Josie's 27, that means 45. No, sorry. 42. 42 is the youngest someone can be, according to Josie. We got an issue there. I'm going to say it. You're only young and beautiful once. No, you're only young once. And I'm not saying that to be curry favor in some sort of, patronizing way here to the chat. Truth be told, as you get older, if you're a normal person, older women, I'm speaking for myself, become more attractive because they are your peers. They share we all share the same material, right? Now you can go a little bit down, right? With of course, that's fine because underneath it all, men are shallow and terrified of dying. So, something to infuse, if you can combine two things at once, something to talk about, and a little infusion of I'm still viable and potent, I'm not gonna die, then you do that. That's the psyche of the man. What the hell does this say? Her boobs look like a butt crack. That's what boys like. I know when you say that with big boobs, they look like somebody's butt on somebody's chest. I know what you're saying. I get that. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's all above the neck. It's above the neck. It's in there. There's something inexplicable. I have friends who run around and they're older guys. They're in their late 50s and they only like dating young women. And it's so sad. It's sad. I look at them like, ugh. I've got one buddy who is single and he's literally like he's in college. You know him. He stays here sometimes. He's like, dude, got a couple of unbelievable hotties from Dallas that are coming in. They're hot. Got some hotties. I'm like, you're 55, dude. Like you sound like an idiot. You know what I'm saying? But between the ears takes you right. That is, there's something that unlocks and then you get that thing going. I got to say it. I'm a normal person. I'm balanced, man. Now, Linda, hold on. I'm not going to be this again. Yes. It's chemistry. Everyone can agree here. I did not expect to talk about the sex this morning. I did not, Steve. It's not in the rundown. It's not what we talked about. Did you do this? Who did this? Was it Linda? Who can I blame for this? Was it English Dick? Somebody's getting blamed for this.
It's Sydney Sweeney, Bill.
It's Sydney Sweeney. But I'm not. She's now out of it. Okay, when I talk about the sex, I remove her because it's sorry, Sid, but no thanks. And I don't think she's sad that I'm exiting her from my diatribe here. But everybody knows that the sex it's a powerful tool, but it isn't good, in my opinion, if you're not really connected with somebody. And then it's just an exercise. You might as well go to Gold's Gym. You know what I mean? And work out there. So I think think of this particular friend of mine who's chasing young chicks all over, every major city in America. And I'm wondering, is it good? Is it like, oh my God, that was like, or is it like, okay, see you soon, Oh, all right. Off to San Francisco. I don't know. Something I think about. I don't know. I'm too shy anyway. She's too young for both of us, Billy. That's right, English D. I don't know. Do you know your initials are ED? I know your first name is in English, but Richard. Ooh, need a connection for MBS. Do you suffer from MBS? What's that? Mind-blowing sex. Suffer. I got to say it. Anyway, the Chamber of Commerce was not happy with Sydney Sweeney. They were pissed off at Girlfriend. They said, girl, you can't do that. No, Sydney's stunt, says the chamber, was not authorized by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, nor did we have prior knowledge of it. That's the whole point, Steve. Steve Nissen, CEO of the chamber. The chamber owns the intellectual property rights to the image of the Hollywood sign, and anyone who seeks to use it must obtain a license or permission from the Hollywood Chamber to do so. This was in their promotion budget, Steve. You send her a fine, she pays the fine, and thus that is the cost of the promotion of the new brasiers, Steve. She's not calling you to get permission, because then it turns into she got permission for a stunt, now she's a phony. She actually has to get in trouble for it to work. God, this guy. Do I have to explain everything to everybody? That's what I want to know, Steve. But anyway, it's got vibes of like, you see like dun, 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 dun. They've got like black duffel bags with bras and they're all wearing black with hats and the whole thing. I feel like I'm watching The Town with Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner, right? You know, like we're going to wear masks and we've got shotguns and, you know, it's a little much for a bag full of bras.
You know, I could completely swing the other way if I had enough time on this.
That's what they say, Steve. I gotta say, it's not the first time I've heard it. I've really got to say that.
That's really good, actually. That was funny. I'm saying if I think about this enough, I could say it's brilliant. They did something we haven't seen before. It's all part of the plan, and we're all talking about it.
Thanks, Steve. Steve's opinion. Steve, your opinion matters. I want you to know that. It's true. Guys, who's excited? Raise your hand. Oh my God. Kellerman Resort in the Catskills. Oh my God. Dirty Dancing. 40 years later. Talk to me, Goose. The original, 1987. I had the time of my life, and I owe it all to you. Ooh, dun, 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 dun. Jennifer Grey in the role of Baby. She said, the role of Baby has held a very deep and meaningful place in my heart, as it has in the hearts of so many fans over the years. Jennifer is now 65 years old. She said in a press release yesterday, I've long wondered where we might find Baby years later and what her life might be like, but it's taken time to assemble the kind of people that I felt could be entrusted to build on the legacy of the original film. They're going to make it again. She's going to be in it. Dying for Sex showrunner Kim Rosenstock. She's going to write that script. Hunger Games and Crazy Rich Asians producers Nina Jacobson and Brad Simpson. They are going to lead this project. So many interesting things about Never Put Baby in the Corner. Allie? No. So many things to learn about it. Things you might not have known about this. R.I.P. Patrick Swayze. Oh, what a wonderful man. Interviewed him many times. Always felt wonderful being in his presence. Remember that A&E series he did at the end when he was a detective? That was the last time. So the film's title wasn't always Dirty Dancing. They almost changed it to I Was a Teenage Mambo Queen. Thank God they didn't. Right? They kept Dirty Dancing. Because authorities at the Canadian border, this is really funny. The film's title was they almost had to change it to I Was a Teenage Mambo Queen from Dirty Dancing because it caused the authorities at the Canadian border to hold up the dailies because they thought it was a porn film. Isn't that unbelievable? Eleanor Bergstein, who is the screenwriter, shared that to Cosmo in 2017. Unbelievable. So Patrick Swayze got the role, but they were also interviewing Billy Zane, Benicio del Toro, and Val Kilmer, all considered for the job of Johnny Castle. It ultimately went to Swayze because he had the ballet background. He went to the Joffrey Ballet School. He went to the Harkness School It absolutely made him a monster on the big screen. Of course, he had other movies. He and Jennifer Grey were in Red Dawn together. Swayze almost turned down the role in Dirty Dancing because of a serious knee injury he sustained during his Broadway days. It even said on his resume when they were interviewing him, no dancing, can't dance, bad injury. Well, get back on that horse. Other people looked at, you got Billy Zane and Val Kilmer. They also looked at, for the role of Baby, Sarah Jessica Parker. They kind of were they looking for a woman with a pronounced nose? No matter what. Isn't that interesting? Sarah Jessica Parker. And then Winona Ryder also auditioned. Jennifer Grey revealed to the New York Times she was paid $50,000 for the role. That's it. She was a non-dancer too, so she was terrified to dance with Patrick Swayze, who of course was great, but since they worked together in Red Dawn, they knew each other, they liked each other. She said he was a great dancer. He was a fearless dancer. His fearlessness with my fearfulness, it's like his lack of Jewishness and my super Jewishness together was like a marriage where you have two opposites. He'd do anything, and I'd be scared to do anything. Yeah, that, by the way, talk about heat in the bedroom, right? Opposites. Why do we not get along? Republicans and Democrats. I think James Carville and Mary Matlin, they're now much older, but I think they had the hottest sex, throughout of any marriage ever, right? His liberal Democrat, man and this Republican woman, and just watch out. Differences are so interesting. Why don't you align with everybody in your life has to see things the way you do? I have this woman. Look at this. Okay, so there's this woman. She's super conservative, right? Her son, she's always like wanting her son to come and like learn from me. And he's interested in, being a broadcaster, being on TV or whatever it is. She texts me last night. Steve, you'll like this. Hey, I just saw your piece with Dean Cain. He could not be more correct. There's so much more to analyzing the videos from different angles that apparently you haven't seen. The bottom line is anybody that runs into the line of fire with any law enforcement and you've got a gun on you and you don't tell them you've got a gun on you, all bets are off and the whole game changes. I do understand this guy was an upstanding citizen and doing good things in this world. However, that does not mitigate the stupidity he displayed the day he engaged against law enforcement. Okay. I find that to be, I don't agree with what she said, but I find that to be her opinion, and I'm not going to be like, you're an idiot, screw you, door shut. I sent back, he was filming them like everyone else. He was filming them like everyone else. I wouldn't call it engaging them. There are too many angles from preamble to start to finish. He's a permitted carrier. There are too many Second Amendment folks, NRA members, who are pissed off that because he was carrying, he was shot with 7 men on top of him 10 times. We disagree wholeheartedly, but that's okay. Big hugs to you. Do I have to lead the way on all of this? I think these people are pushing me left. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm left. I was right center. Now I'm just like I'm sitting literally on the center with a stake up my ass. That's how in the middle I am. Right in the middle.
I will say though that your friend or that person, I like what he or she wrote. So I didn't get her to hear too. She, I'm sorry. I do like it's well said and I get it. I get it. It still doesn't to me mean someone should get shot, but I do think it makes sense.
Karen, I don't think you're talking about this topic. That's me lying about. I think she was saying that's an older one. I think she was saying I'm lying about not being. There's probably a lot of things that. Well, I've told about 11 lies this morning, so I don't know which one. I'm kidding. Plenty of wiggle room in the middle. That's right. Is that Winston Churchill right there? Jessica, Jewel. Billy, I apologize for saying Dean was a lousy Superman, although I didn't care for him in the role. He's open-minded to see truth in law enforcement, and we need that mindset within. Look at that. Someone's reviewing what they said, and they're putting a little bit of an adjustment in there. Yeah. Back to Dirty Dancing. Mama Roll says the remake will flop like the show did with Abigail Breslin. It's really hard to go back and tap into something. And I don't think they're looking to make a Buffo, amazingly. They're looking to just squeeze a little nostalgia after a really good piece of intellectual property. They know it's not going to be giant, but is there a profit to be made in there? There absolutely is. And that's what they're doing. Yeah, okay. We're all over the damn place. Jackie J. Why is it so hard for ICE to take accountability? The value of someone's life is simply not a factor anymore in these situations, and that's just sad. Well, Donald Trump came out and said, we're going to do an investigation. I think he's looked at the polls, and I think he's looked at how people feel in this country, and a group of people, probably little Marco, who I thank God is in this government. I'm going to say that. I think Marco actually, he's playing this perfectly. He has to, you may not love everything he's doing, but he has to do certain things or he's going to get thrown out, right? I believe he's an agent. I believe he's an undercover agent for normal people. He's a normie masquerading as a MAGA guy. He's not. And as soon as Trump is gone, he's going to be like, okay, let's fix this shit. But he has to be on the inside. Or else nobody with any mind is on the inside. I thought that way about JD Vance for a while, but I think JD is completely had a lobotomy. I don't know when that old JD that used to tell the truth about Trump before 2016, he's gone. He wants power so badly. Little Marco, pacing himself correctly. But here's what Trump says. He says, we're going to do an investigation. We're going to do a very honorable and honest investigation. Did you have to say that? It's like the guy that says, I shot a legitimate 66 out there today. Do you have to say legitimate? Are you just assuming people think you cheat?
Yeah.
You don't say, what'd you shoot today? A legit 66. I wasn't suggesting that it wouldn't be legit. Why are you bringing that up?
Yeah. Billy, a little bit of news, actually. So yesterday, Trump said, you can't have guns. You can't walk with guns. It's an unfortunate thing. Well, the NRA has now responded on X. NRA has responded.
You can't have guns. You can't walk with guns. That's the entire reason we donated to you. He doesn't even know.
Right. Well, here's the news part. The NRA has finally responded. The NRA unequivocally believes that all law-abiding citizens have a right to keep and bear arms anywhere they have a legal right to be. So it's interesting they have actually put out a statement.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Bill?
My thoughts are, wait, someone just told me I'm teetering on TDS. Oh, wait, where is it? Donna, you're teetering on TDS. I don't think so. I see the divide over him. Listen, I'm a guy. Let me take you the other way for a second, right? I always give credit. He did some things that no one else was doing. And we needed it to be done. Like Bill Maher recently said about the woke left. He's like, the woke left is killing us. He's like, Jesus, shut up, Hollywood celebrities. You're killing I'm a liberal. I was a liberal and now I'm in the middle. I'm like Bill the other way. I was pretty much a Republican conservative, and now I'm kind of in the middle. I guess always right center, now just dead center. And Trump has gone too far. Donna, I love you. I appreciate what you're saying. But it's just too much. When you say the only thing stopping me is my own morality, that's really scary. No, the only thing, there should be a lot more than your own morality, and you're not very moral, stopping you. Anyway, I got it. Don't go down the TDS road. Listen, I understand that. I need some good news from him. I need to see a picture of him holding up his grandchild again. You know what I mean? I need to know that he's good. You know what I mean? Pick up the grandkid again. I like it when he's with the grandkid. And I say, okay, here's a sweet granddaddy. We need that. Do we give a shit about Dirty Dancing? Do you? I just like what people are saying right here. It feels like I like it when it's plucking on the nerve a little bit. Trump did not say that. I saw his speech. He did. It's a direct quote. It's not in his speech. It's a comment. Very honorable and very an honest investigation. Direct quote. He would never go up against the NRA. That would be political suicide. Well, eventually you got to listen to the polls, because in the end, everything points towards the midterm elections, right? How are we doing in the midterm elections? And that's everything. Scary thing is when someone unfollows and cannot even stick around to listen to another point of view. I agree. Yeah, look, see, the woman who texted me the night, I understand what she's saying. I mean, I do think, like, what did the guy, why would you walk into an active investigate? Like, and at the same time, how are you going to protest if you just stay out of the way in an active and then you let them roll through the streets and do whatever they want? What other way is there to protest? From the side, through a window? Hey, stop it. You know what I mean? In the 60s, they got in there and they clash. It's the only way to actually protest. That's why I love Charlie Kirk. He opened conversations without insulting a person. This guy Charlie Kirk would show up on college campuses. Nobody showed up. And then everybody showed up. That's what it takes when you're engaging people. I like that. My brother's running for governor of Maine. I said, you know what? Go to these college campuses, John. Go up to University of Maine. He's so smart. I said, go to UMaine in Orono and go engage these people. Get these kids going. I'm so in the middle too, Billy. Hi, Tammy. Trump did not say, oh, yeah, he did. I'm sorry. I know you don't want it to be the case, but it is. I just started watching The House of the Dragon and the Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
That was what I was
Pretty good. Oh. Is that a good show?
It's good. I know it's up your alley, but that was what I was telling
Is it in the family of Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Because I'm not into that.
Yeah, it's not.
I never watched one. I never watched any Game of Thrones. And I'm not starting. Did you see U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar during a town hall meeting? Someone threw stinky liquid on her, right, at a town hall. And Trump said she probably did it herself. Trump floated out. By the way, Trump floated out something interesting the other day. He said Ilhan Omar, and it's worth an investigation. Ilhan Omar comes from Somalia, he said. She didn't have anything, no dimes in her pockets. And now she's worth $44 million. All as a congresswoman serving the people. If that's the case, I'd really want to see those receipts. If she's pulled out $44 million by representing people in Congress, throw her out. Throw them all out. And it's probably true. They're in these committee meetings and they know, which way, things that are going to happen to affect the markets. I saw something from Scott Galloway a few days ago that I forgot to mention. Scott Galloway was a guest on our show. We love Scott. But he said something intelligent. Speaking of the protesters, thinking of the text that I got, walking into an active law enforcement scene, especially when you have a permit to carry. People are criticizing the guy for not announcing, hey, I have a gun. I mean, the problem is with these guys, they're a little tricky. If you say that, you're all right. What? I heard gun. I don't know if you can, but he's just used to carrying his gun wherever he goes. I don't think he leaves the house without it. So forget about that. Right, Steve? You right, Steve? This guy, I love this guy. But, look, to me, it feels like it's not such a cut and dry issue. It's just, it's not. It's difficult. Just tough. I don't know. I get lost in the thing.
Billy, did you watch out? I'm switching gears. Did you watch Adolescence?
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are talking about shows, and now people are pulling Adolescence. Since I haven't finished Adolescence, that I got caught up in other stuff.
I love it.
Yeah, I know you've seen about everything.
It's very, very good. The acting is off the charts. Adolescence. Off the charts. What's his name? Stephen Graham. I love the way he talks too.
I love Stephen Graham.
I love his little speeches. He's a short, very stocky. He's a
powerful,
stocky little man, right?
Yeah, powerful, compact.
He looks like you, Steve, before you lost all the weight. Steve used to be a little thicker.
Just more Steve.
Thicky mouse. A little bit of a thicky mouse. That was you. Here we go. Let's see what's going on here. Rep Ramanda. Pretty good. That's why pretty really messed up things for conservatives separating us on this gun issue. You can carry legally and concealed, but you must announce yourself to law enforcement. Yeah. Here we go. English Dick. The guy was mad carrying a gun to that situation, but it's madness that carrying guns, we and the rest of the world manage without them. So true. Yeah, English Dick is allowed to get that in there. Yep. I mean, the English don't have, the Europeans don't have carry permits. I don't remember which one, but they got a little mini version of him running around saying, "Yes, boss." What the fuck is he talking about? I don't know. In my opinion, TDS is the same thing as MAGA. Oh, wow. That is, yeah. Yeah, these are the extremes, right? MAGA, TDS. Like, it's like, whew. I just feel like America's better here. But I think the very definition of the middle means like, it's hard to rally people like moderation. Moderation by definition is not something, how do you rally behind moderation? You know what I mean? It doesn't, the whole point of moderation is that you're not affected either way, which one, you have to be totally affected for a movement to be born. I think it's just, that's the problem. Immigration, also an issue in Canada. We deported 8,000 people last year. It can be done without this problem. Here in Texas, we have open carry. I prefer that. I want to see who has a pew-pew. Pew-pew. Much better than concealed. Hey, ha. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, my God. Hearing you say my name makes my whole day. Reprimanda, 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 a reprimanda. Few guns, many knives. We need to value life. Okay, I'm with you, Jackie. Naughty Jackie. My dad was driving me from Long Island to college in Massachusetts, had to turn back. He forgot to leave his gun at home, licensed, but knew he could not have it in Massachusetts. Well, you can have it in Minnesota, but do you take it to a protest where you know there's people with guns? I think like, he obviously took it in case he was in a terrible situation, right? You know, that he would be able to. But what's interesting is with ICE agents roaming in the streets, he still didn't feel like he was in a dangerous situation. So he never took it out. He never reached for it. It never was a thought. He thought, I'm with law enforcement. I don't need to do that. Even after Renee Good, he saw the best in them. And even though, you know, that's not going to happen to me, can't happen to me. And it did. Tough. Tell your brother about medical civil rights bill in Massachusetts. He's running for governor in Maine, but I can do that. You know what I told my brother? I said, I want you to do the first ever, as governor of Maine, the first ever clinical trial of psychedelics for maximum security incarcerated men. These are all murderers, rapists, killers, all these people in there. They are all living out their childhood trauma. They weren't born this way. And I think the neuroplasticity opening up these pathways for these incarcerated violent criminals, it would be an amazing study to see what happens, because they throw them in there and they forget them and they just like, I don't know. I'm not saying, give them a whole bunch of mushrooms and then let them out, but let's see what it does, right? Interesting. That's what I think. That's a great idea, Billy. Thank you, Joe. Wouldn't you you want to talk about compassionate conservatism. Nothing more compassionate than that, right? Joe, you think I should run? You think I could ever get elected in Canada? In Canada. California? Not a chance. Not a chance. They don't like moderate here. They don't like moderate. They like left. Left. Look what it's done for this fucking city and state. Terrible.
Billy,
It's bankrupt.
maybe you could go to Maine and somehow or another work with your brother, the Bush brothers.
Am I the RFK?
Like, but in a great way, like two sides of the
Or
Bush
go
brothers.
there and like become a senator, and then we just like give people the Malachi Crunch.
Oh, the Malachi.
I don't know. Yeah, let's talk about this. A small woohoo for man, a giant woohoo for mankind. Woohoo worldwide. Look at that. Woohoo gear. Oh, she's selling some gear, woohoo. Take a look at that, see what's going on. My family loves the Bushes. You don't have to love the Bushes, but you just have to love this one. Not to be off topic, Billy, I'm a stylist and I worry that you'll scratch your scalp a little bit. Get a detoxifying shampoo. Oh, I'm dry. Carol, I'm not going to lie. I'm a dry person. My parents were the whitest, flakiest people in the world. They had no business having children. They should not have done that. And they did. And my brother's feet are cracking too. I mean, it's terrible. I have to put on lotion every night before bed. It's not the only thing that I'm mad about with my parents. Maine having problems from ice now, I heard on the news. That's true. Ice has gone into Maine. Make sure you all follow Jonathan Bush for Maine on Instagram. Keep up with my brother, see what he's doing. But yeah, he's made some interesting posts about what's happening in the country here. He's a very moderate guy. How do you win in pickleball? Is it like racquetball? Jackie, we can't go through the rules here. You're gonna when you hear about what is this about the kitchen? I thought that's where you just made food. Yeah. When do you get your YouTube award for 100,000 subscribers? I don't know. I hope by the time they make it, we get the second plaque, which is 1 million subscribers. Could that ever happen? I think so. It's just got to hit one of those streaks, where you're making sense to people. I don't know, but people have to, in this regard, people got to come out of their corners and just say, Jesus, it isn't working. Let's meet in the middle here. Yeah, English Dick. Oh, he's been checking it out. Love what your brother said. Yep. Congrats on having hair at your age at all. Full and voluminous. Well, I had Tommy come over and cut it on Monday. Tommy, who was in the Ice Capades. Yep. He came and he cut that shit right up. Had to do it. I had to do it. Okay, story time. Great article on Blake Lively. Everybody's wondering what Judge Lewis Lyman is going to do in New York. How is he going to rule on this hearing that they had last week? Right? Will Blake Lively's case go to trial on May 18th? Will the judge throw it out? There was a summary judgment. Summary judgment is coming. Will he throw it out? Will he throw out part of her case? Will he throw the whole thing out, or will it go as is to trial, which is for SH and for smear campaign, retaliation, etc.? So I read an article, Eric Gardner in Puck. I told you Puck News is pretty good. And he said it all, and this is really good. If you want to understand how Judge Lewis Lyman may rule in the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni case, forget the Taylor Swift text and set aside for now the messages among Sony executives questioning Lively's career prospects after she went public with her allegations from the Making of It Ends With Us. If you want to know what he might do, look at what happened behind the scenes on the NBC hit sitcom Friends. 20 years ago, in a case that would become a landmark in Hollywood, a Friends writer assistant named Amani Lyle sued Warner Brothers after the studio fired her from Friends. Lyle claimed that the atmosphere in the writer's room, where colleagues were making lewd remarks and openly joking about sleeping with the show's female stars, which everyone else did, by the way, at home on the couch, it amounted to sexual harassment. I was more of a Rachel guy, just going to say it. Anyway, a trial court dismissed her claims. An appellate court briefly revived them, and the California Supreme Court ultimately put the case to bed on the basis that writing adult comedies requires latitude for the creative process. Ever since, Lyle versus Warner Brothers has been cited for the proposition that context matters, and that not every uncomfortable workplace interaction in a creative environment is actionable. Interesting, right? So it was no surprise when Jonathan Bach, one of Baldoni's attorneys, opened his summary judgment argument last week in New York federal court by invoking the Friends case. Context, he argued, was everything. None of Lively's arguments, Baldoni's commentary on her wardrobe or weight, Baldoni kissing her during rehearsal of a slow dance, producer Jamie Heath showing a video of his wife giving birth, held water. None of these held water, Bach argued. First, none of the behavior was directed at Lively because she's a woman. And second, it was all part of the filmmaking process for an adult-themed movie about intimate relationships. Ezra Hudson, Blake Lively's lawyer, counted that the distinction between Lyle in this case was that Baldoni and Heath targeted her specifically, rather than just subjecting her to a generally inhospitable atmosphere. The relevant issue, Hudson argued, was consent, and Lively never gave consent. Consent? Are we on a date here? Are we in a hotel room together? We're on set with 50 people around us. Oh my God. That was the moment, perhaps tellingly, that Judge Lyman pressed the hardest when Ezra said she didn't give consent. What was the limiting principle, he asked? In other words, how do we keep a consent rule from swallowing everything? Don't directors have the ability to improvise? If kissing is off limits, what about a hand on the actor's back? And if consent is the sole measure, what is the role of intimacy coordinators or nudity writers in contracts? Your position would seem to have every issue decided by a jury. Judge Lyman observed, that can't be right. Well, to some, this might sound like routine probing by an engaged judge, testing the edges of each side's argument before issuing a ruling. But as I sat in the New York courtroom, Judge Lyman's approach felt familiar. Check this out. A year ago, Judge Lyman pursued a strikingly similar line of questioning during a hearing on Leah McSweeney's lawsuit against Bravo over alleged mistreatment on The Real Housewives of New York City. Do you remember that one? The former cast member claimed that producers discriminated against her as a recovering alcoholic, weaponizing her alcoholism and exploiting her for a storyline. So I didn't know Lyman was the judge in that, but during that hearing, Lyman pressed counsel to articulate limiting principles and openly wondered whether the theory advanced by Leah McSweeney's attorneys would spell the end of reality TV. Ultimately, Lyman concluded that producers were entitled to cast participants willing to consume a large amount of alcohol and that creative freedom outweighed the state's regulatory interest. He dismissed a lot of McSweeney's case, though he allowed a narrower, hostile work environment, that claim to proceed. It's not hard to imagine a similar trajectory here, right? Lyman's already set the precedent with substantially narrowing Blake's case before trial, even if he stops short of tossing it out completely. There are a few factual disputes here, most notably over the circumstances in which Jamie Heath entered Blake's trailer while she was nearly nude. Beyond that flashpoint, however, the parties largely agree on what happened, even as they fiercely disagree about what it means. That's often the ideal setup for a judge inclined to write doctrine rather than to defer to a jury. In other words, this case has all the ingredients for a sequel to the Friends case. Some 20 years from now, it wouldn't be surprising if lawyers are citing whatever Judge Lyman writes next. Okay, so what about the shadow smear campaign? Judge Lyman must also decide how to handle Blake's claim that Baldoni and other producers publicly maligned her in retaliation for her complaints about on-set conduct. This is the strand of the case that has attracted the most attention. Remember, it all began here. The New York Times Hollywood smear campaign headlined the article they wrote December 22nd, 2024, and generated the most anticipation about what Blake's legal team, led by Michael Gottlieb, might uncover. Would discovery expose a covert social media operation orchestrated by Baldoni that reshapes our understanding of the modern crisis management dark arts? The short answer, not really. Despite a tranche of documents that were unredacted on the evening of the hearing, and everybody went crazy with these, Lively's lawyers struggled to point to evidence supporting the theory that Justin Baldoni coordinated a press and social media campaign to bury her. They highlighted instances in which Baldoni's PR team, led by Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel, shared talking points with the digital influencer Sage Steele ahead of a pro-Baldoni video she was doing. But overall, they appeared to concede that the investigative haul was thin. That disappointment now underpins a sanctions motion. Lively's team argues that the absence of evidence is itself evidence. What? Oh, no. The fact that there is no evidence that you can find that Justin organized the smear campaign is how it's evidence of how good it was and how deep in the dark arts it was. So the lack of evidence is evidence? Holy mackerel. Oh, my God. Lively's team argues the absence of evidence is itself evidence, accusing Baldoni's camp of switching to Signal, the encrypted app, and enabling auto-delete just when communications should have been preserved. They're asking the court to draw the inference that Baldoni did, in fact, execute a plan to undermine her publicly, and if the case reaches trial, to bar him from offering any rebuttal. This woman is crazy. She got the judge to throw out his countersuit. No countersuit. It's retaliation for a person claiming SH. It's a California law. It's why they have these CRD complaints. So they clipped his wings to sue her for what she's doing to him. He can only defend himself. But now, this is crazy. You got to limit his ability to have any rebuttal. Oh my God. This is imagine a man trying to muzzle a woman like that. She's trying to muzzle this guy. We're supposed to believe that she's a defenseless woman being oh God, nothing defenseless about this woman. Anyway, Lively's most formidable obstacle may not be the evidentiary gaps, but whether she was truly an employee, as her side claims. If she is instead deemed an independent contractor, then several employment law claims, including retaliation, could fall away entirely. That question remains a jump ball. Nevertheless, my eyebrows went up in the courtroom when Judge Lyman strongly implied that he did not view Lively's unsigned long-form loan-out agreement, which her team has leaned on heavily to establish employee status, as enforceable. On the employment question, which has barely merited media attention amid the tabloid-ready details, the case is otherwise served up. Baldoni's lawyers have pointed out that harassment and discrimination laws are designed to address a power differential, right? And Lively, he said, here it is hardly powerless. On the contrary, she's a marquee star who exercised significant control over her working conditions, including extracting a 17-point list of demands early on in the shoot. She also has a roster of influential allies. Yeah, Taylor Swift re-enters the story here. And a very powerful spouse in Ryan Reynolds, who was actively lobbying Colleen Hoover and executives at William Morris Endeavor Agency on her behalf, all of which is to say it's possible Judge Lyman seizes on this line of reasoning, disposing of claims on grounds that few outside the courtroom have been paying much attention to at all. What about Brian Friedman in all of this? He didn't get up at all in this summary judgment hearing, these oral arguments in New York last week. He stayed out of it. Noticeably absent from the lectern during the hearing was Brian Friedman. He was certainly present, even brought his son with him to observe. But besides introducing himself, "Hi, I'm Brian Friedman," he remained silent and seated as his colleagues took over. One of the lawyers, his colleague, Alexandra Shapiro, represented Sam Bankman-Fried and Sean Diddy Combs. A savvy decision because Lyman was shown an awkward aversion. Lyman doesn't like Friedman. Friedman had to realize he didn't like, and why? Because of Friedman's comments in the beginning of this whole thing when he came on with us and came on with Megyn Kelly and kind of, basically went off and said, this woman has simply tried to take over this guy's movie, and she basically, harassed him. She tried to take over so the judge doesn't like Brian Friedman in that case. Anyway, what's going to happen here? In the end, I think he's going to throw out part of it. I think he's going to limit the scope of Blake's case in a major way. He's going to limit the scope, and it will go to trial May 18th. Some of it will go forward. He's not going to throw the whole thing out, but it's going to be limited. Okay? So that will be a small win for Baldoni going into, and then when it ultimately happens, he will prevail, and she will fall flat on her ass where she belongs. It's all out there. God, these people are the self-sabotaging. I talk about self-sabotaging with my therapist all the time. I'm sure a lot of people do. Like, are there things we do to shoot ourselves in the foot? This woman, Jesus Christ, she needs to give a speech on this someday. I'll attend that speech. If she falls on the sword, takes ownership of this crazy shit, I will attend that speech. I'm going to say, good for you. Good for you. Should have done it earlier. Anyway, Billy, we need Pineapplers merch. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. English Dick, you are going to be running around the streets of London in a little set of these, and they're going to say, oh my God, do you look adorable? We're going to get the Zaddy shorts going for every one of you. You're going to buy this for your husband and make him walk out at the family reunion barbecue in them. Drop the robe, jump in the pool, and get a laugh. Okay? Boom. Here's a great line right here by Karen. Sign up Meghan Markle for that speech. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Who's feeling cheeky this morning? All right, Steve. I am behind for our 10 a.m. show, but here's our guest. I don't know if I sort of figured in these times, with all the chaos out there and things moving at 9, how do we not react so much to things so passionately, so much division and shit that I got Ryan Holiday from the Daily Stoic. I love Ryan Holiday. He's smart. He has done more in the space of stoicism. He helped me when I got to know him personally. I flew to Austin, Texas for some things. I was showing my daughter the University of Texas, and Ryan and I had lunch. I looked him up and I was like, hey dude, I've been reading your Daily Stoic. And it's all about tits and ass. And oh my God, whoa, did I just, Jackie! Anyway, I'm going to talk to him. A Stoic's mind is really good here. How do you not swing, right? How do you just control your reactions? It's going to be fun. There'll be some news to it. Oh, I love you. Happy hump day. Humpity hump day. I want everyone to hump on this hump day. Give it a literal meaning. Except me. Too much to do. Oh my God, I had a visit yesterday with somebody who was in the news in a major way. Been through a lot. And I think we're going to do a big Hot Mics sit down about it. You'll be riveted. I'm sorry, it's a big tease, but I can't stand another thing. It's too sensitive. But it would be a big one. Okay?